explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Okay, welcome to Altered State. And apparently I erased our intro at some point. I'm like, this is not it.
I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, let it play for a few seconds.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So the time, man. How you doing?
I kind of had a major screw up today too. I was on General Quast's show at 6, so I had to
sweet.
so I just did my show for an hour and then I immediately left my show and just rated everybody over there. But then I forgot to end my stream on Rumble. So it just kept going. And I shut OBS off and everything, but I just forgot to end it over on Rumble. So I've got 3 hours of dead air at the end of my stream.
Good times.
Pretty
yeah,
funny.
I've caught a couple at the end of the night when I'm going to make that one. I'm like, oh, this is still open. It's 8 hours. We're going. Blast, man. It feels like a lot is happening all at once, and I'm totally here for it.
I am too. And so did you see that the administration actually tried to go after the Seditious Six for sedition? They sought to charge them with sedition, and a DC grand jury, of course, decided not to indict them.
No, that I did not see, and I guess I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But it's just another exposure op. We should start. I always say start making a list of these corrupt judges, because this is one of the biggest things. They need to start impeaching them.
Well, I mean, this was technically 12 Democrats from the Washington, D.C. area, because the grand jury, so that you've got a judge who's overseeing the proceedings, and then you've got the grand jurists, and they're the ones who get presented the information. Now, I mean, it's the same type of thing. It goes to show you that the DC Circuit Court, it's impossible to get anybody into a point of justice. I mean, even if you can get them indicted and then you put them on trial, then you got to worry about the judge maybe giving them what do they call it? A softball sentence or something like that. Or the jury itself, through the court proceeding, then also nullifies and says, well, yes, even though, you've presented this evidence, we decline to find them guilty. We're just going to find them not guilty. Like that guy who worked for the government, he worked for the DOJ, and he threw a sub at a nice employee, at a nice officer, and then ran from them, and they tackled him and they charged him with assault. I mean, it was assault. If that guy would have thrown a sandwich at a civilian, then that civilian would have called the police and had the ability to have charges pressed against them. But the only reason that it didn't happen is because it was an ICE officer. And of course it was a DC jury, and they're 99% Democrat, or 99% deep state, I should say.
Yeah. Deep state. Right. Yeah. There almost is no Democrat Party anymore. It's interesting times we live in. And yeah, how did we infiltrate that? Because that's why they all feel so emboldened. I guess, like you're saying, any crimes that they've committed there while living in DC are going to be tried by this judiciary that is clearly corrupted. So we just keep shining a light on it. I'm sure there are people working on what to do with that, but that seems to be the most important. The courts, corrupt judges, they're the end of the line for a lot of this.
So I wonder if, because I mean, you can't do a change of venue until you actually get it into a trial. So I wonder if they could do prosecution of public figures. I know people are going to say military tribunals, but let's just, let's say that isn't going to happen. If you could do a task force and have, I don't know, make an argument that the grand jury has to be held outside of DC. I mean, I just don't see how it's possible to get anything through DC. And, also, I mean, all of those people have served on juries because it's such a small pool. You look back at the January 6th cases, and you had like a rotating cast of characters. They were the same jurists and they were coming in over and over and over again.
Yeah, maybe the answer, not that Virginia's much better, but maybe the answer is to dissolve DC as some whatever it is outside territory.
You could do that. Yes. You could dissolve like DC as the District of Columbia, dissolve that, hand it back over to Maryland. I believe that's what's left. And then you would also need to dissolve the DC District Court. And so like, maybe split it up, like the territory, like split it up and make sure that each like part of it goes to a different district court. So then you don't have like a conglomeration of all of those people in one place, and then they'll be more evenly dispersed.
Yeah, and that could maybe be the answer, right? Other than trying to fix what's there, just blow it up. Why is there a separate entity running our country that isn't located in the States? So right off the bat, that's something. Now, there's been a lot of Epstein talk. I'm sure you're getting sick of it, but
no, I'm actually not getting sick of it, because
I'm enjoying the shit out of it. Okay, good.
I am among those people who for many years was saying release Epstein files. Okay, I feel like there's a lot of people who were like, release the files, and now that they got files and you got millions of pages to go through, people are like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm kind of tired of the Epstein files. So like, so you were just like it was theatrical the entire time. I mean, I want that information out there. It needs to be out there. And I think it's doing a tremendous service to humanity right now. Yes, there is a lot of disturbing stuff. If you did not realize that you were going to look at the Epstein files and be disturbed, then I don't know what you've been doing for the last 2 decades. Okay. However, the people out there who had no idea what they were getting into, and they're dipping their toes in, and as soon as they do, they're like, what in the hell? And they look at us and they say, those people that I thought were crazy were telling me the truth this entire time. There is so much value and utility in that.
Oh my gosh, it's invaluable, dude. And again, we've been talking about this for 9 years now, something. Yeah. So it feels good. And there are things, it's interesting. I keep seeing a lot of vague statements like Trump's in the things thousands of times, millions of times. Well, yeah, every time we go there, every time I go to read there, it's Plaskett or another one wargaming with Epstein on how to get Trump. He's literally mentioned 1 million times as they're all talking shit about him, talking about what to do with him. He's talking with Michael Wolff. He's talking with Jeffries. He's talking with all these people. Yeah, his name is in there all the time because this was one of the people in the background trying desperately to get him. And you do have things like this, Joe. I've been putting this together. I'll post it when I get all fancy red lines on it, like us add-ons like to do. And but I want to make a point about this, right? Because this is something that came out that I think is great, talking about the original Palm Beach investigation into Epstein. And they're talking about, it was nice watching like ABC News and them try to have to cover this part where it says that Trump was one of the very first people to call when they found out they were investigating Epstein. And not only that, he praised them for doing, thank goodness you guys are stopping this. Everyone knows he's been doing this. Trump told him people in New York knew Epstein was disgusting. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. She is evil, and the focus on her. So not only he's calling them, praising them, giving them extra intel, giving them extra names, telling them what. And now we know a lot of it. People talk about Robert Maxwell, the father, and he's a pipeline to the Mossad. So he's kind of giving up the goat, saying to focus on Maxwell here. She's evil and the focus on her. He said he was around Epstein once with teenagers for president and he got the hell out of there. That's probably one of the things I red pilled him on, Mr. Epstein. And so this is huge. And there's a couple points I want to make about this. One, we've already kind of known about this because Michael Wolff gave up the goat in his Fire and Fury as if it was some get on Trump that Epstein himself was pretty sure Trump made the call to the Palm Beach Police Department. It does start here that in the early 2000s, 2003, a call came into the tip line that women were going in and out of Epstein's house. I think Epstein's referring to this call, by the way. Not that he's necessarily right, but nevertheless, this is huge because this shows that Trump was trying to get this guy during the Bush administration. That's how long ago that his quest to destroy this guy started, for all the people who are like sharing random pictures of him in the 90s with Epstein to be like, I got him. Okay, so anyway, that's one point. But here's another point. There, for everyone being like, oh, Trump's name's redacted. His name, maybe, but maybe not. It's not redacted in this. This is blank became police chief in 2001. Well, that blank is Ryder. It's police chief Michael Ryder, and I have confirmed this, that he did become police chief in 2001. This is an old article I used to have. This is from 2006, and he is really mad, frustrated that he can't get them to prosecute this guy. And he wrote letters about it. He wrote letters slamming the state attorney Barry Kreischer about it. And this is an article about, Epstein's people really trying to bury Ryder and that anyway. So this is about that whole case. So they blocked out his name, and this is a good guy in the case, and they blocked out the names of the victims. Agent blank's last name was blank. So for everyone who's saying that, why are they blacked out? Well, this is an example where just the victims are, and the police chief who was working on it. So it goes to show you that maybe the things aren't as sinister or as incomplete as people think. Anyway.
Yeah, and here's the thing. President Trump has been consistent with his messaging on Epstein for years, since before he became president. All right. And, he's not a guy who says more than he needs to say. And by keeping it to a minimum and by allowing other people to fill in the gaps, he has gotten us to this point where now all of this documentation is public. And, I don't care what people say. MTG is out there all over the place saying, President Trump called me a traitor and he said my friends are going to be hurt. But, President Trump knew about what was going on and he lauded the police. He made sure that in his first administration, Epstein was arrested. He made sure that in this administration, all of these files came out, and he made it a community effort, right? If it had just been Trump the entire time, then it would have been easier to dismiss. But by making it a cultural meme, it became everybody's responsibility. And it should have been everybody's responsibility from the very start. But it took Donald Trump to make these people even aware of it or decide that they wanted to do something about it.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. And the timeline as it goes, and now we have even more to fill in the second part, but we've been saying this very much so. 2002, he tells a national publication, Donald Trump likes that Epstein likes his women on the younger side. Everyone's saying that was like some sauce against Trump. I'm like, dude, that is not what you want someone to be saying to a national publication.
No way.
If you're banging young women. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's an out right there. Then he quite clearly was calling up investigators at very least 2006, possibly as early as 2003, trying to help them in their prosecution of this guy. Then around that same time, he purposely outbid Epstein, was trying to get a second property in Palm Beach, and Donald Trump just went and blind outbid him for it. And then just, I don't know, he just got rid of the property. He didn't even want it. It was literally, clearly just to keep this guy from spreading his roots in Palm Beach. Then in 2009, we have the infamous clip with, was it Bradley Edwards, the prosecutor? The lawyer.
Lawyer for the victims.
Giuffre and other victims, trying to go after Epstein, that said Donald Trump was first one that called him back, the only one who called him back, and again, tried to help him, tried to give them information. Then he's running for president And well, actually, he wasn't even running for president. This February of 2015, when he was still thinking about it, talking about Epstein Island being a cesspool, saying how Prince Andrew knew all about it, and then talking about how Clinton knew all about it. It's not even on anyone's radar talking about it. Then he gets in the presidency, and he does this. And I won't go through the thread because I went through it on my show yesterday. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I'll mention that in a second. He goes here with the Q drops and posts about Epstein over 100 times. I mean, they just incessantly, half the thing is about freaking Epstein.
Yep.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is the only guy who's been trying to get Jeffrey Epstein for over 20 years now. None of them, then when you look back, says that. So that is wild that they've even had the nerve to try and push it on him. But here's another thing, dude. This is so great.
Oh yeah, I showed this on my show too. Yeah.
How amazing is this? And I think, and there was another one I saw where Ghislaine uses the same misspelling. Yeah. So I think it was their thing. So I don't think
it was. I'm sorry, I didn't show this one. I showed the one where Ghislaine spelled it incorrectly. I didn't know Jeffrey had as well.
Yeah, and I haven't searched it yet myself. Well, maybe we can do a live search right now. But I've seen the two now, so that means this is a thing. And I think Trump spells it like this because he's outing them. And this is back in 2012. Yeah. So this even fills the gap now from 2009 to 2015, where turns out Lynn forgot to tell me how children nicks, whatever, Loren. So it's got to do something about these missing children grabbed by perverts. Too many instances, fast trial, death penalty. Misspellings matter. Remember, they used to sell us in drops all the time. You have more than you know.
Yeah.
So that is, this guy has a lifetime of trying to screw over this pervert loser. And you see it, the drops are actually confirming that all over the place. That's why MSNBC is like, he's mentioned thousands of times. Anyway, on to the next thing. It's like, whoa, what were they saying in those thousands of times? Nothing?
You know what else I find really interesting is that Democrats keep saying that Donald Trump made Jeffrey Epstein and the files a pillar of his campaign. He didn't make it a pillar of his campaign. Of course, he's the only one who ever talked about it, but he only talked about it a handful of times. But as you just pointed out, it was a significant pillar of the posts as they came out. It was one of, it was a subject that was well documented. And they keep saying that Donald Trump made it a pillar of his campaign. I was like, well, Q definitely made it a pillar of the posts. I wonder if there is just some bleed over going on there, a tacit admission that President Trump is Q plus.
Yes, dude. Yes, exactly. They're actually slipping by saying that. Because you're right. When you go back to especially this campaign here for the 2024 election, he's asked about it once or twice and he gives a quick response. But other than that, he never brings it up. He don't bring it up in his rallies. He don't bring it up in any of his recorded videos. He's bringing up all the amazing other things that he's doing. But yeah, that is a tacit admission. Now, going to what we said, we have a couple super chats from John in Connecticut who said, I guess this is about dissolving DC.
Yeah.
Said you'd have to eliminate Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 regarding any federal district in Congress, which has exclusive legislative authority outside of the Constitution. I pulled that up. So it says to exercise exclusive legislation. I swear I could read, guys. In all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding 10 miles square, as may by cessation of particular states and the acceptance of Congress, become the seat of government of the United States, and to exercise like the authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be, for the erection of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other needful buildings. I love that forts. It's like that's how badass the beginning of our country was. We're like, listen, if you're going to put up any forts or arsenals, we need legislation over it.
So
Um,
we
yeah.
we wouldn't actually need to like withdraw this Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, or to nullify it, because it's not exactly 10 square miles right now, because the land that came from Virginia that had previously been ceded to DC was, so this is everything south of the Potomac, that had already been given back to Virginia because Virginia was complaining about not receiving enough revenue because they had given away such prime real estate. And so that has already been handed over. So it would be within the power of Congress, I would imagine, to essentially give back all of the other land and perhaps just make the site of the Capitol building, the Senate building, maybe the Supreme Court, it doesn't even have to be boundaries that are like even, right? I mean, it could just follow directly around the path of those buildings.
That's a great freaking point, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's
literally
easier than might be thought,
I like that. Yeah, that might be the way. I mean, I'm sure they have people right now wargaming how to do it because it's a problem. It's just a problem. It's just unfair. It's not even that like, oh, they're left wing. We wish they were right wing. No, we wish they were impartial.
Yes.
That's the ideal.
The other part that's frustrating is that recently they tried to defund the district court, and the House wouldn't have it. Like they were unable to get it through. I want to say it was like Chip Roy that had put the motion forward, but it was unable to get the votes to move through. So
interesting. But they did get votes for something you were telling me before the show, right?
They did. Today. Yeah. Let me go ahead and share this little tidbit right here if you want to pull that up. So yeah, well, first of all, there was an interesting thing that happened between President Trump and Canada. Canada is building a new bridge to the United States, and Obama basically gave them ownership of the entire thing. So they didn't use any American steel or manufacturing products or American labor. It's all being done with Canadian labor and imported stuff. And Canada is going to own the American side of the bridge. Now, the Ambassador Bridge, the current bridge between the United States and Canada, Canada owns the Canadian side, America owns the American side. This was a bad deal for the United States of America. And President Trump essentially said, I don't like the way Canada's acting. I should probably try to find the actual statement that President Trump made. But he essentially said that he was considering just not allowing them to open the bridge. And I think he was trying to strong arm them into maybe essentially taking ownership of the American side. I mean, I think, here it is. He said, Canada has taken advantage of the United States on trade for many years. They are among the worst in the world to deal with, especially as it relates to our northern border. Tariffs make a win for us easy. Republicans must keep it that way. President Donald Trump. Well, that's in regard to what happened today. But one second,
you're showing right now the SAVE Act.
Pretty
awesome.
That's the wrong one.
Talk about that too after.
We will talk about that. So what I meant to share was this one. The House voted to terminate President Trump's tariffs on Canada. All right. And I think it was in response to his threat to Canada. And Mark Carney actually replied to President Trump's threat. Hang on. I think I'm almost there. I'm into his stuff from yesterday. Also, Abby got Q plussed. Abby got shared by President freaking Trump.
Oh yeah, I got that when you're ready. Yeah.
That's so freaking cool. I saw that earlier today and
Amazing.
I was like, holy shit. Oh my God. But you guys were freaking out.
Oh, dude, she woke me up. She was like, I got some good news. And I'm expecting something cool.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, Trump reposted me. Like, what the fuck?
Now,
a lot of adulation in the Zerbo house today.
Oh my God. So cool. So cool. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. I want to try to find Carney's statement before we dive into this article. Okay. Did you see James Vanderbeek died too?
Oh, the Dawson?
Yeah, the Dawson. Yep.
Why? How?
He's had pancreatic cancer. He's been fighting it for the last couple of years.
Freaking cancer, dude.
Yeah, and he was totally based in red pilled too. So it's really sad. He was like a natural living kind of guy. Him and his wife, they did not put jabs in their bodies or anything like that.
Wow.
Okay.
Good for them on that. That's freaking dude. What is that? I feel cancer is just everywhere lately.
It is. It is. All right. So here we go. As everyone knows, the country of Canada has treated the United States very unfairly for decades. Now things are turning around for the USA and fast. But imagine Canada is building a massive bridge between Ontario and Michigan. They own both the Canada and the United States side, and of course, built it with virtually no U.S. content. President Barack Hussein Obama stupidly gave them a waiver so they could get around the Buy American Act and not use any American products, including our steel. Now the Canadian government expects me, as president of the United States, to permit them to just take advantage of America. What does the United States of America get? Absolutely nothing. Ontario won't even put U.S. spirits, beverages, or other alcoholic products on their shelves. They are absolutely prohibited from doing so. And now, on top of everything else, Prime Minister Carney wants to make a deal with China, which will eat Canada alive. We'll just get the leftovers. I don't think so. The first thing China will do is terminate all ice hockey being played in Canada and permanently eliminate the Stanley Cup. What? I don't know where he's getting that. The tariffs Canada charges us for our dairy products have for many years been unacceptable, putting our farmers at great financial risk. I will not allow this bridge to open until the United States is fully compensated for everything we've given them. And also, importantly, Canada treats the United States with fairness and the respect that we deserve. We will start negotiations immediately with all that we have given them. We should own perhaps at least one half of this asset. The revenues generated because of the U.S. market will be astronomical. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, what also is interesting is USMCA is up for renewal. I don't exactly know when. I just know that it's soon. So Mark Carney responds, and he says, in a social media post on Monday, Trump said, I will not allow the bridge to open until we're compensated. Canada treats the United States fairly. Where is it? Trump did not mention the bridge by name. Now, where is his statement? Here's his statement.
Pardon me. So the first thing to say is there's a big game today, and the president and I discussed the Canada-U.S. game, and of course we're all behind our team. Secondly, we discussed a number of issues, international issues. Thirdly, we discussed the bridge. I explained that Canada paid for the construction of the bridge, over $4 billion, that the ownership is shared between the state of Michigan and the government of Canada, and that in the construction of the bridge, obviously there's Canadian steel, Canadian workers, but also U.S. steel, U.S. workers that are involved. This is a great example of cooperation between our countries. Look forward to it opening. And what is particularly important, of course, is the commerce and the tourism and the voyages of Canadians and Americans that go across that bridge. So the conversation turned to a series of issues that we will raise and we're going to follow up on. I'm not going to go into detail on those issues. These would be specific issues in parallel to the CUSMA negotiations. Final point is the president asked appropriately that his ambassador, who's from Michigan, of course, play a role in smoothing the conversation in and around the bridge. So it was a positive conversation. It's a big game today.
So is this resolved?
Okay. So in response to that, the House voted to terminate the Canadian tariffs. And that was Thomas Massey, Don Bacon, Brian Fitzpatrick, Jeff Hurd, Kevin Kiley, Dan Newhouse, who joined with the Democrats. Now, all is not lost because it would have to pass through the Senate as well. And then once it passed through the Senate, President Trump would have to sign it. Now, if that were to happen, I'm certain he would veto it immediately because these Canadian tariffs are pretty important for the plan that President Trump has going right now. So I don't think we need to worry about it, but it's a thumb in the eye for sure from those Republican congressmen.
Yeah, the tariffs too they're more than just the actual tariffs. They're also bargaining chips. So you have all these things.
Exactly.
You know, maybe they will be taken off one day after a deal's made for a certain reasoning, not just because, oh well, they said something. We don't like. What are you scared of? Canada? It's weird.
Well, I mean, that's why I brought up the USMCA, because we're going to be renegotiating the overall trade deals, at the base level with Canada and Mexico. And as you so succinctly put, those tariffs are a chip. It's a deal-making mechanism that President Trump has. If that deal-making mechanism goes away, then that gives Canada an upper hand in the negotiations. This way, President Trump, has somewhere to begin. We've got leverage over them. And President Trump also shared this gem right here. This was, I'm sure you've seen this, Brad. I mean, this was, this is such a good video.
Why wouldn't you dedicate yourself to public service?
Because I think it's a very mean life. I would love and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life. And I also see it as somebody with strong views and somebody with the kind of views that are maybe a little bit unpopular, which may be right, but may be unpopular.
I am your voice. So to every parent who dreams for their child, and every child who dreams for their future, I say these words to you tonight. I am with you. I will fight for you. And I will win for you. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. God bless you and good night.
So
well, that's so cool. I'd seen the Rona Barrett interview. I never saw that montage.
Yeah, the Rona Barrett interview, the entire thing is powerful, but that particular video is just, it gives me chills every single time.
I just love this guy, man. It's well, what he's doing is the most unprecedented thing of my whole life, obviously. And it's just want to help him any way I can. And
yes,
that's what motivates all of us. Same thing. I think with Abby, like you're saying, well, we were geeking out. We were geeking out all morning. This is the post that President Trump shared. And if you guys remember, this was on Twitter right after the 2020 election. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the ones that got deleted because Twitter was on the rampage. But this is a guy who was in the count center and he was iced out. And Trump has been posting a lot about the election frauds. And that's especially that coupled with what just happened in Georgia. And it seems like this is where the focus is very much on right now, which I really love.
Oh yes. And well, play the video. Let's go ahead and watch it.
Yeah.
My name is Brian McCaffrey. I'm a registered Democrat in the city of Philadelphia. Today, I'm at the Philadelphia Convention Center, and I am overseeing the ballot counters. I will let you know the corruption that is going on here. They will not allow us within 30 to 100 feet to supervise the ballots being counted. This is a coup against the President of the United States of America, and I want to call out the Mayor of Philadelphia, James Kenney, the Attorney General, Josh Shapiro, who tweeted that there's no way Donald Trump can win President of the United States of America, and also the District Attorney of Philadelphia, Larry Krasner. I can't believe what I'm seeing right before my eyes. This has nothing to do with Joe Biden or Donald Trump. This has to do with our democracy, and I will tell you, there is corruption at the highest level in the city of Philadelphia.
Powerful.
Very powerful. And I'll tell you what's powerful about Trump doing this, right? How when he reposts people, right? Like I see this, I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. And then it makes me want to go into my 2020, voter fraud video file and start posting them all, right? Abby was like, oh, I should go post some of my more one. Not that he's going to repeat them again, but it's just like, well, there's a light on this right now. So how many people are seeing this and saying, well, that's so cool that he's reposting, regular patriots and with this. And now they're saying, well, I got a whole bunch of 2020 voter fraud videos or digs that I can post. And it's just something that makes people want to get more involved. It's exciting, right? And they're smart. That's why he does stuff like this.
Absolutely.
And so cool.
And it's cool that he will post the video and then do it a second time with a screenshot of where he got it so that you know who it is that he's seeing over there on Twitter.
Yes.
And you get that little shout out because there's plenty of people who just steal videos. They'll just grab a video and share it and say, no, maybe they'll tag you or something like that. But this is a step above. He doesn't have to do that. I mean, people, if you just saw President Trump sharing the video that you put out, that's cool enough. But for him to share it and make sure that you're getting the credit, it's awesome.
It's so freaking cool, man. Yeah. That's I love that they're doing. I assume Scavino probably has a hand in this, but he has several people, right, who post on his social media. Wasn't there a video came out a couple of years ago, right? And there was some woman there who was doing a lot of posting with him. He was kind of
they were at dinner. It was during that documentary they did. And he's like eating, and he's like, say this.
The man. I love it.
It's so cool. All right. So somebody else in the chat had mentioned, hope that President Trump helps us save our elections. He already has, and he's given them the roadmap. And that is what they are currently rolling out in the SAVE Act. So it has made its way out of the you're going to have to share that for me.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
It's made its way out of the committee in the Senate. They changed it a little bit. I don't know exactly what they did. So it went back to the House, and they were able to pass that. And now I believe that it goes for the final approval into the Senate once more, and then it will become law. So Democrat Representative Henry Cuellar voted for the SAVE Act. That's the guy that Trump just pardoned not that long ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I want people to recognize that, because the people were like so pissed. I mean, I covered Henry Cuellar, his, alleged corruption, his whole family. His brother's indicted. He's like the sheriff of Bexar County. His wife was in trouble. President Trump pardoned her too, I believe. And this is the time that those kinds of chips end up getting called in. When you go to the other side and you say, there will come a day when I will need to call on you. And if you do not back me up, then you're done. Okay. And I will make sure that you are destroyed. I saved your ass. All right. And that's what President Trump did. And it's unfortunate, but this is how politics works. This is how it goes in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
But President Trump is using it not for, to get his own kickbacks or anything like that. He's doing it so that we can save America, dude.
Oh, without a doubt, man. And Trump's a reasonable guy. If he pardons someone, I gotta assume maybe he saw something that maybe points to something to not be as horrible as we think it is, or as it seems. Yeah. We often see a lot of times the news are very good at taking something this big, and I don't know this guy's case, by the way, but they're taking something this big and making it seem like the worst thing in the world, or the opposite, taking the worst thing in the world and making it seem like no big deal. So that's why it's like you got to look into it. This is how Trump neutralized the kneeling for the flag or kneeling for national anthems shenanigans that was started by Kaepernick during his first term. He went out publicly. He says, I told the players, if you have come to me. If you know people who are being wronged by the system, come to me. I will have someone look at your case. And I believe he really meant it. And no one took him up on that. So it meant that they didn't really want any change. They were just trying to stir the pot, and they're probably being tasked by higher entities to create chaos and anti-American sentiment and anti-right-wing sentiment with that. So it was an operation, and he neutralized it by doing that. But I really believe that if people came to him, and that was proven with many others over the course of that, he would have really looked at it, and he would have, they were really wronged, it would have been corrected.
Absolutely. All right. Now, somebody in the chat, the Q Awakening had shared a post from John earlier, kind of shitting on the SAVE Act. And John makes a point, the SAVE Act is a great start, but there are still a bunch of other problems in our election system. Let me just posit something to you. The SAVE Act addresses a very specific issue, okay? A number of very specific issues related to elections. Right? What's that?
It's for voter ID?
It's for voter ID, and there's a couple of other pieces in there. We'll take a look at it, and we'll see exactly what it does. But it's closer to a single issue bill than we've gotten on a lot of things in a very long time. So, I think people that are, saying that it's not enough, you're kind of asking for their cake and then eating it too. But it doesn't mean that there aren't other things that are happening in the background to address some of those other issues. Now, let me just remind everyone that Tulsi Gabbard, the DNI, is currently working on a years-long investigation into electronic voting machines. All right. You've also got, I'm looking for an article that I talked about today. President Trump secretly hired and then tasked Kurt Olson, who's a lawyer that worked on the Save the Steel campaign and was also a Navy SEAL. He tasked him with taking all of the 2020 election intel from the Central Intelligence Agency and doing his personal investigation on what happened. Let me just tell you, Kurt Olson already knows what happened in the 2020 election. Okay. So what Kurt Olson is looking for is corroboration within the Central Intelligence Agency's own files. Tulsi Gabbard, as the director of national intelligence, has domain over the Central Intelligence Agency. So certainly, in my mind, he is working with her pre-existing year-plus long investigation. My point ultimately here is that the election system is being dealt with in the way that we want it to be dealt with, but perhaps in a more clandestine way than people would like, because it means they're not filled in on everything. I mean, we didn't even learn about Tulsi Gabbard visiting Puerto Rico to dismantle voting machines. We also just had the raid on Fulton County's election warehouse. Rumor is that they're going to go to Maricopa County next and do the exact same thing. They need to go to Michigan and do the exact same thing. I think that we're going to have raids at election warehouses in every single one of these swing states. And I believe that we will have this election system issue sorted before we get to the midterms. But I mean, again, I go back to something you said earlier and that I've said on numerous occasions. This administration and the actions we see are unlike anything that we have ever seen in any administration in the past. And so I will suffer through the minor black pills or the perhaps the reticence that people have, or maybe reservations about whether or not it's actually going to happen. Because when has it ever happened in the past? It never has. All right. But I'm personally just confident that this is a different ball game that we're playing now.
Couple of points on that is that voter ID, dude, that, and like you said, there's even more to it. I would love to dive into that a little more.
I forgot about Harmeet Dillon suing. Well, first of all, getting every single state's qualified voter file and then suing the Democrat states that are refusing to hand it over. We'll have those, and those voter rolls will all be cleaned before we get to the election in November.
Amazing, dude. I love it. And voter ID is a massive step in the right direction. And there have been other steps, by the way, over these last however many years. But that's a massive blanket countrywide step. And you want to get to the top of the staircase. You can't get to that final step without going through all the other steps. You have to just one after the other. And this is, I mean, I would argue this is bigger than the first step of the staircase. Mm-hmm. That's massive. Voter ID kind of destroys a lot of the illegal immigrant, the bird dogging type stuff that they do, the busting in people, and it kind of screws that. That coupled with what ICE has been doing is going to really, really, really cut away a massive swath. And that was the big part that they always did. The mail-in ballots and all the screwy stuff of 2020, some of those things go on naturally, but a big part of that they were only able to do because a pandemic broke out. So they're absolutely chipping away at the stone. And I think John, they're saying that he was saying it's not enough. I think he might like this way of thinking. Maybe he's not looking at it like this. There's a lot of things with bills, and like you're saying, the SAVE Act seems to be just a couple things. I actually need to look into that a little more.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
But with a lot of these bills, there's a lot of things in the bills, right?
Yeah.
And say there's 20 things in a bill and you don't like 2 of the things in there, and you're going to go on and you're going to focus on them and you're going to talk about them. But there's 18 things in that bill you do like.
Mhm.
Why aren't you talk about them? I feel like it should be above a scale, because for all of us, we're all different people. There, you could arguably say, like, someone like Trump has 100 million people who support him in this country. If you take those 20 things and you put them and you task the 100 million people to all say what parts they like, they're all going to pick 2 different parts that they don't like, and it's not going to overlap. That's just human nature. You can't please everyone. So every bill ever passed, the good ones are going to have, a small percentage you don't like. There's just human nature. I'm sure myself would fit that bill. And the bad ones are going to have only 2 parts you do like, but they probably might have a part that you like somewhere in that bill. What I'm saying is, and I would suggest to maybe like John or just other people who are looking at this and maybe just focus on negative, maybe try to look at things as the whole. Right. Well, like as a whole, do I like this bill?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and maybe that'll make him feel a little better about things.
Yeah. And, and another part of that is, if everything that we could possibly want is lumped into one single bill, it becomes that much easier to take away all of those things as well in the future. All they have to do is nullify a single piece of legislation. Whereas right now it's being attacked from multitude of different directions. And, hopefully what John was saying was that, you shouldn't look at the SAVE bill and say that, like, this is the only thing that's going to save elections, because that's definitely not what I'm saying. My point is that, this is one step in a number of steps that need to be taken. And ultimately, what I see are those steps actually being taken. Take a look at this. So this is really, really important. Okay. So Kurt Olson is a G. All right. Like, this dude knows what's up. All right. And for him to have been clandestinely hired in October of last year and nobody knew, around that time, because I shared the picture of it, Ed Martin he took a picture with Kurt Olson in his office, and then they shared it and just said, good morning, America. How are you? All right. With no context and no information about why Kurt Olson was there. And I was like, well, that's interesting. That's definitely interesting that Kurt Olson was at, the Department of Justice. All right. Well, Ed Martin visits the White House on an almost daily basis. All right. Kurt Olson has been clandestinely working on the 2020 election using the CIA's information about this. And the CIA is not going to be able to lie to him about it, because Tulsi Gabbard has also been working on this for the last year. So she knows what he should be looking for. He knows what he should be looking for, because for the last 6 years, he was working on the Stop the Steal project and trying to get the truth out about the 2020 election. So the cast of characters that President Trump has organized that are working on these things, I just think it's a dream team once again. And the fact that it's happened quietly without a bunch of fanfare, that means that nobody knew about it, so nobody could stop them. All right. Like, can you imagine President Trump goes and does a press conference and I have assembled the dream team of election researchers, and I'm going to put them all in the same place on the same day at noon, just in case anybody wants to do something bad. And then, they all blow up, or they get disappeared, or, people start dropping dead. I definitely don't want that. Hell no. I want this done like an intel op.
Well, exactly, dude. It is. He said it. I mean, it was more for a warfare comment, but it goes for everything. When he was first running, one of the points was made. He was like, Obama would say, "We're going to be in Syria on this day," and that thing. And he goes, and they'd be waiting for him. He goes, well, why do you airmail your moves unless it's in some sort of op? And anyone who's actually trying to win a war doesn't say shit. That's it's funny. I think I sent you a skit. I don't have it handy, with Shane Gillis talking about the Revolutionary War, but he makes kind of a side point during his rant where he's like, they were waiting in the woods for these people. It wasn't like the British were still lining up in fields Like, all right, we're gonna do our war now. The Americans were like guerrilla warfare, hiding in trees, right?
Exactly.
Like, this is war, and that's how you do it. But like, meet me on the battlefield and line up formation on this date. Fuck
Sure,
you.
chap. Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Now, I got
Okay.
something for Mo Brady out there. This was what I was actually going to say next. Another member of that dream team is our boy Clay Parikh. The
Oh,
FBI,
nice, yes.
the FBI hired him in regards to Fulton County, Georgia. And his name came out when the affidavit for the search warrant was released yesterday. He was one of the witnesses, and he is working with the FBI on unraveling what happened down in Fulton County, Georgia. Now, Clay Parikh testified for Carrie Lake. Kurt Olson also represented Carrie Lake. So I'm just waiting for some more names to come out here, but I'm okay without them being dropped all at the same time. I'm doing good. I'm doing good with it. Now, here's the other thing. People are saying Pam's got to go. Does Pam really got to go? I mean, right now, everybody is focused on the DOJ as if it's completely ineffectual and it's never going to get anything done. I mean, how many times have you seen President Trump in your life hold a decoy out for people to focus on, while in his other hand, he's doing the real work? There's other people at the DOJ. Pam is just the one who does the press conferences. Okay. She's the one who shows up to do the testimony. Now, I'm not going to say she looked good when they were questioning her in regards to the Epstein files. I mean, she's the one who's taking all the heat. Maybe that's on purpose. Maybe Pam is supposed to look like a fool.
Exactly. You guys, I don't know how many is out there like baseball, but when you're in a close game and your pitcher's starting to waver, right? Yeah, maybe you take him out and you put in a reliever in. But when it's when they're getting shelled, you leave them in. You don't want to waste your bullpen. It's not an exact one-to-one because I don't think we're getting shelled right now, but it appears that way. And maybe Pam Bondi's supposed to be there. Maybe she's the lightning rod. We'll focus all your attention there. Maybe behind the scenes, I mean, she's clearly holding back some of the things. And there are other things, like it feels like all that stuff with the Epstein files early on was total bait. Now it was like everyone's like, why didn't you do this last year? Because no one's ever happy with anything. But it's like last year, everyone was so mad, right? We have them. Blah, blah, blah. They wanted them released. Everyone wanted these, 20,000 files released. And then they're like, oh, we don't have them. It's a hoax. Yeah, guys, everyone's freaking out. More and more Democrats are like, no, we need them. All of a sudden you reach the fever pitch where everyone's like, we need them. And then the Trump administration's like, oh, well, we actually have 3 million of them. Here you go, world.
Yes.
Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, it was like anyone who doesn't see what happened there is either lying to you on the internet because they're being paid to create chaos, or they're stupid. Yeah. So no matter what Pam looks like on camera or how, bad she may appear to be, it is her Department of Justice that has made all of this stuff possible. So, I mean, there's an old tenet of our boy, Sun Tzu, which goes like this: appear weak when you are strong. And I feel that we are seeing that in quite a few different places within the administration. There is a strategy that is taking place, and I think that people are so used to just being fed. They're used to being force-fed, okay? Yeah. Like what you see on TV is what you're supposed to interpret as reality. But, I mean, I feel like we should definitely have learned this as a lesson over the years. Yeah, definitely, man. It's I mean, everything seems to be going swimmingly as far as I'm concerned.
Me too. Yeah. And don't forget this too.
Pretty badass, actually.
The cabinet members. Okay, so like Pam as the Attorney General, she's not like running day-to-day stuff at the DOJ. She's like big picture stuff at the DOJ. Okay, and the same with Kash Patel. Even though Kash Patel is going out to like field offices and he's fired people. I mean, he's definitely handling business. But like, in terms of like prosecutions and investigations, that's like the rank and file DOJ that are actually doing that. I mean, so Gizmo's mom, I mean, I think that both Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche are in charge. I mean, Todd Blanche seems to be more capable publicly than Pam does. But I mean, like, you have the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General, and, they're both taking care of different things. I can tell you from being in management at a variety of different stores, I mean, there's a lot of times where the assistant manager seems to have more responsibilities than the manager themselves. You know, I mean, it's like people rise to that power and they have the opportunity to kind of sit back and stretch and maybe think about things from a different perspective, whereas the person directly under them is going to be handling a lot of the busy work.
Yeah, this was a point that I had originally written into Codex 911 that wound up getting cut as I was trying to shorten parts. But you know, when Operation Cyclone was created, the deputy director of the CIA on there with Carter is Frank Carlucci, who then went on to have his hand in the Carlyle Group and, you know, other things that he has very suspicious timing with all these things. And he was the deputy director of the CIA. But one thing I had found in my research is that that's actually more hands-on than the director. And so it seems that a lot of these departments, the deputy is the more hands-on version of the director position.
Yeah. All right. Now, also, somebody in the chat just said Todd Blanche is not to be trusted. Why? Because you read an article that said Todd Blanche was not to be trusted. Let's talk about him and Ed Martin. So the story that went around the other day was that Todd Blanche had dissolved the weaponization working group. He had essentially fired Ed Martin, and that Ed Martin was not leaving the DOJ, but he was going to, like, you know, officially run only the pardon office, but that he was going to be doing some other unknown job at the DOJ. All right. Now, the weaponization of government, I think, in my opinion, folds nicely into the grand conspiracy investigation, which is currently before a grand jury down here in Florida. Okay. So maybe the ultimate work of the weaponization working group had been concluded and it was passed off. What's even more important than that story maybe not being exactly what happened is that the day after Ed Martin was allegedly fired by Todd Blanche, will you share my screen?
No.
Ed Martin and Todd Blanche share this picture of themselves smiling inside the Department of Justice. I mean,
but no, the article said it was bad, Zach.
Exactly.
They hate each other. Don't you know that?
Exactly. So here they are. And by my estimation, because I've been paying attention to the people that Ed Martin posts his photographs with, and they've been consequential. They mean something every single time. And, you know, there was also another story that Ed Blanche or Todd Blanche had shut down the investigation into Adam Schiff. And Todd Blanche, and that allegedly he put Ed Martin under investigation. Ed Martin replied to Chad Mazzell on X, and Chad was like, "That's not what's going on." He's like, "This needs to, because this is an investigation into a sitting U.S. senator. There is a certain way that you have to go about it." And Ed Martin is not under investigation. Adam Schiff is under investigation, but every aspect of the claims against Adam Schiff are being examined to make sure that it's not going to be something that can be thrown out on a technicality. So Ed shared Chad's post and he was like, "I can never comment on the status of an ongoing investigation. Suffice to say, Chad knows what he's talking about." Okay.
Great. Oh, that's great.
Yes. So say it without saying it. Okay. Now, I feel like, you know, there was outrage for 24 hours. And then first thing, Ed shares this picture with him and Todd Blanche. Okay. Well, there you go. I got another one for you. People had said when Ghislaine Maxwell was questioned by Todd Blanche, Todd goes to the prison down in Florida, and he personally interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell. And allegedly, she was totally forthcoming. All right. She gave them every question. She answered every question. Now, keep in mind, this is before the Epstein files. Any of the Epstein files came out. And Ghislaine was evidently a perfect person because she was answering all the questions that Todd had for her. And they said, well, there will be ongoing conversations. They move her to that lower security prison. And everybody said, Ghislaine Maxwell made a deal. Todd Blanche sold us out. Donald Trump is protecting pedophiles. Well, guess what? This week, Ghislaine Maxwell came in to testify. Now, of course, she also said that she would openly testify before the House Oversight Committee on the question of Jeffrey Epstein, and that she would answer all their questions. Once the Epstein files came out, her tactic changed a little bit, and she said she may need to plead the fifth. And then as more files came out, she said, I will be answering every single question by pleading the fifth. Let me just tell you that people who have deals, who have been given amnesty, who have non-prosecution agreements with the Department of Justice, do not need to plead the fifth. Okay, they're in no danger of incriminating themselves. So by very virtue of that fact, she would have gone ahead and answered every single question. So that tells me that there is no deal with Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell was hoping that she would be able to lie her way out of prison and pretend that she doesn't know Jeffrey's co-conspirators, that she never had anything to do with it. We know that's total bullshit. All right. So what, in my opinion, what the DOJ did was they softened her up a little bit. They took her from a bad situation. They put her into a better situation. And they were hoping that, you know, you will now see what could be done for you. And then they can go back to her and say, are you ready to talk yet? Okay, if you're not ready to talk yet, guess what happens? They can always put her in the shitty place again.
Yeah.
And do you think that's what she wants? I really don't think so.
Yeah, dude. I love your analysis on this. And you're right. The fact that she's pleading the fifth negates it. It totally destroys that claim. For you guys out there, I'm sure some of you have heard it a lot, but you should really, it's a quick read, quicker than you think. Read Rules for Radicals.
Mm-hmm.
One of the rules is to use the news of the day, no matter what it is. Use the daily news to create negativity towards your opponent. They're going to use every single thing that happened, and they're going to present it as the end of the world. And they have people, they even have plants on their own side who are going to sit there and they're going to, on their newspaper or whatever that you think is nice and you read all the time, and it's, well, why did Donald Trump do this? Or why did this person working for Trump do this? It's all over. It's the end of the world. Oh my God. They're going to do it every single day to you, every step of the way. So you have to read between the lines a little bit, which is what Zach and I try to do here. But you guys are very capable also of doing that. And it will help. It will help bring down some of the panic.
Oh, let me also, I forgot to mention this. So the day that that story came out and Ed Martin was allegedly fired, he first posts this picture with him and the president. Okay. And then it was after that that he posted the picture of him and Todd Blanche. So the insinuation was that Ed was being blockaded from the president, that the president didn't know. And this is what they always say. Like, you guys, President Trump is not stupid. He may have to choose people who are going to be in positions to delegate authority to, but he's in contact with all these people. Like, it's not like there's somebody who's blocking somebody as important as Ed Martin from getting in there. So it's not like Todd Blanche could go in there and say, Todd, Ed's a doofus. We're just going to fire him and you can't talk to him anymore. And President Trump says, okay, Todd, I guess you're in charge. Like, it's not like that. Ed immediately was there with the president after that article came out. And again, appear weak when you are strong. Appear weak when you are strong. And consider the sources every single time you hear these things. The administration has also done a pretty excellent job this time around, I think, of putting fake information out to people that I think they believe may be leaking.
Yeah, smoking out rats for sure.
Exactly,
in real time.
rats.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
More than a few cases I've seen someone coming out with something crazy, and I'm like, that was a freaking test right there, and you failed.
Yes, yes. Now, D Patriot asks, whatever happened to Phil Klein and the Amistad Project? He's the lawyer with the New York truck driver that drove all the ballots to Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
I just heard about him the other day. If I'm not mistaken, he's about to come back into this story. Let's see. New York truck driver with Pennsylvania ballots. What was his name?
It was funny. I have my election folder open right now. Let me take a look.
Jesse Richard Morgan.
Oh, Jesse Richard.
Yes. Okay, so let's go to X and let's go look up Jesse Morgan. Oh, geez, oh, Pete, do not share my screen. There's porn stars with the name Jesse Morgan.
Great.
I'm so glad I wasn't sharing my screen right there, you guys. Oh my God. Oh my God. Lisa and I we saw some clip the other night. A little bit different, but same kind of thing. So I don't have the filter on because I don't want anything to be like filtered out, because sometimes things will be they will show up in the X algorithm as like offensive or adult or something like that. And I don't want anything to be filtered out inaccurately. But there was some guy that was doing a live stream with his co-host, who's a woman, and he had X up, and he was just going through his feed. So it's like who he follows. And there is some like just like hardcore gross pornography that like showed up on screen, like some like very specific type of kink or something like that. And he was like, oops, boobs. And we were like, that's not just boobs. Oh my God. And then he tried to pass it off on X and was like, oh, Elon Musk, there's way too much porn on your website.
Yeah, no porn on my freaking timeline.
No porn on my site either. But the only time anything has ever inadvertently shown up is like when I did a search for something. Like
I've had that happen.
Yeah, and like somebody like tags something popular just on a set of tits or something like that, and then you're just like, no, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, that happens, but like just your regular timeline, very suspicious.
No, you're following like BBC cucks or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
now it could have been a lot worse, as you see here.
So
this is something's called the Gaylord box.
In total, I call them totes.
Now he's blocking it, but yeah, this is 10 minutes long. We don't have to play this, but this is the guy.
Yep.
This is the truck driver anyway. And so I don't know. So there's like something happening with his case. Or?
I don't know if Brad's frozen or if I'm frozen.
Oh, maybe I'm frozen. Am I back yet? Or no?
Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm
not frozen on my end.
Okay. Well, for a second you were frozen for me, and I couldn't tell if it was me or you, but now we're good.
Well, I was just saying that it could have been worse with the search for this guy, because apparently this thing is called a Gaylord box. So. But yeah, I won't play this because it's 10 minutes long. But this is the guy, and this is his original deposition where he's talking about bringing them. And now you were saying something's going on with him and his lawyer, or something parting with this?
I could have sworn that I heard that there was something to do with him that was coming up now that they're doing investigations. And maybe it's just because I just remembered his name because they're going to be looking at Pennsylvania as well.
Love it, dude.
So
yeah, Pennsylvania, I mean, obviously around Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, especially Philadelphia, very Democrat, very Democrat city. But Pennsylvania is a huge state, and the rest of it might as well be, some redneck show from the South. It's just guns and trucks and kind of all the things that are awesome about America. And I guarantee you they all vote right wing, the majority of them. So it's a little weird that Pennsylvania was taken in 2020.
Let me see. Maybe I'm just wishful thinking or something like that, because I'm not seeing anything looking through like recent news, and I'm not seeing anything. A lot of obituaries for people named Jesse. I guess Jesse Morgan is a much more common name than I realized.
Yeah, you see that, right? Jesse Morgan's a common name. I once thought that I was the only Brad Zerbo on planet Earth, but I have located another one.
I remember.
I should find it. Nothing against this said Brad Zerbo. But
this is interesting, Brad. I haven't had a chance to do this yet, but and actually I may as well share this Jeffrey Epstein document since I'm going to bring this up to you. But so there is apparently steganography in some of these Epstein pictures, and it's like the most basic type of steganography. Like, it's not like they don't put it through a program and then encode it into the metadata or something like that. It's like URLs are like hidden within like a random picture. When you're looking through these pictures, you'll see sometimes just like a picture of a bathroom or a picture of a bedroom. You know what I mean? It just seems kind of innocuous. You're like, why is that picture in there? But you can highlight through the picture and it will highlight the text, and then you can copy it and paste it. And there was like a Bible verse that was in there. There was a website. There was a link or basically like a signal for Roblox, which was in there. Now, this was like a picture from like 2013 or something like that, before the idea of Roblox as a haven for sexual predators was even out there. So, so basically what I'm saying is that I started downloading pictures last night so that I can just go through every single one and see what I can find. And but anyways, what I have here is a document that I pulled up from my show today, and I just didn't get a chance to go through it in detail. But this is a 97-page photo album that the FBI put together from a bunch of photos that Epstein and his partners had taken at different times. So you can see you've got the Africa September 02 trip. That's the trip that Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, and Chris Tucker went on with Jeffrey Epstein. You've also got Vanity Fair, Crack Hole Proposal, Redacted Hawaii, Miscellaneous Images. Hang on, I'm just going to see. No,
I always try it. Remember that one document where they forgot to do it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't remember what the document is, but I'll never forget that.
Well, that whole first batch that they put out there was like you could do it with every document.
Okay, I remember that happened.
Yeah. Danny Hillis Zorro. So that's obviously Zorro Ranch. Ted Convalanan 02. Don't know what that is. Alhambra, Spain 03. Something 727. Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday. Zorro and Jeffrey Epstein Glasses Wall Street Journal. Now, what's notable about it is that it has these pages interspersed which says "See Sam not scanned," which is child sexual abuse material, not scanned.
Damn.
So it proves that there is child sexual abuse material in here. I also found some pictures today that I haven't seen anywhere else, which are of Jeffrey Epstein with a girl. It looks like a girl. You can't really tell because, I mean, her face is obscured, but he's like in bed with her, and he's basically just taking pictures of her naked while she's like straddling him. But I figured it wasn't appropriate to show on the program. All right, so you go through here. Now, these are pictures that were then scanned into a single document. So these are not going to have any steganography in them. So you're not going to be able to get anything out of them. I can't tell who these people are in bed, etc. You scroll through. Some of them you can tell they're Jeffrey Epstein. They're pretty low quality because of the way that they were entered into the system, which is a real bummer. But let me see. I wanted to show you that you can tell where the CSAM is because they also have scans of the CDs that these pictures came off of too. When you get to where a CSAM image is, it's right here. So,
wow. Okay.
so you can tell like what sets they're from. And, there you go. You obviously have a naked woman there. You have another woman there. Helicopter images from the island up above. More CSAM. More CSAM. Some kind of woman. I don't know what's going on with that. But, there's a lot of pictures in here that I have never seen, and then obviously some that you have seen, like this one right here at the Queen's cabin.
One in the middle, too, yeah.
Yep, right there. Some of them have titles. J.E. gives H2O to Luke. I'm assuming that Luke is the dog. Jeffrey Epstein thinking, Jeffrey Epstein Zorro with dogs. So this, it says Zorro.psd. So that means this cabin is at Zorro Ranch, I think, which means that the Queen came to visit Jeffrey Epstein at Zorro Ranch.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, this is a sprawling property. So the only pictures that I've seen from Zorro Ranch were just like some of like the main compound. So, yeah, I mean, I would imagine, perhaps this cabin is going to be like much further away from where the main house is to get some privacy. But, Zorro Ranch largely was not investigated. Like, you didn't have the kind of search that took place on the island or that took place in his New York mansion that you had, at those places. You didn't have that at Zorro Ranch. More CSAM, and look, it says nudes. So let's see, more nudes. This is definitely a picture that we've seen before. With Max, I'm wondering if that's G-Max. Here we go. Bill Clinton in Morocco. Here's another one with Clinton in Morocco. Another Clinton, Morocco. And this is what's important because these images of CSAM come from the same set of images with Bill Clinton included in them. So then the question becomes, is Bill Clinton present in these images? Did he participate in these images? Is he the person who took the photographs?
Oh, who took the picture? Took
Yes.
the picture. Oh, well, actually, Clinton's in that picture. Never mind, but still.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's obvious. He didn't take like this picture. He didn't take this picture, but he was there on this particular trip, and these images were taken on the same trip.
Yeah.
So you've got Bill Clinton in the photo album. Here he is again, right there. There's another one. I think we've seen this one with this girl unredacted before.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And then here they are back at Zorro Ranch in 2002. There is a picture of the main house. Here is a picture of the cabin from the other side. You see that?
Let me make it bigger. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
So there's the cabin. And again, it says
And
it's at Zorro. So
Yeah.
I think this is the first time. I've never heard anybody identify that cabin as a property at Zorro Ranch, and I've never heard anybody put that together that the Queen must have visited Zorro Ranch. So
Right. Yeah. And that's way tucked away from the New York Palm Beach Island stuff. So
now I believe he also had a private airfield there at Zorro Ranch. So that would mean that the Queen and Andrew would be able to fly in privately without anybody knowing. Yeah, I've always thought that the cabin was in England as well. I mean, that's kind of what I assumed, that it was the Queen's cabin. But in both of those pictures, it's identified as being on the Zorro Ranch property.
It's funny because I saw a photo that someone tried to pass off today as, as part of this batch. And then, it's been said that it's AI, obviously. So the only sauce they have on Trump are like AI. They have to make fake things. They make fake narratives. They make fake pictures. Remember the one where Epstein's missing his legs on the couch?
I didn't see that one. No.
Yeah, that was a classic from maybe about a year ago. There's a new one now. It's Trump and Epstein with a whole bunch of little kids in a room. It says 7797, and yeah, it's made up. It's fake.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can tell pretty quickly when they're made up. But here again, we have Chris Tucker in Africa. Again, they all say Clinton, Africa.
Oh, yeah, this is
London.
This is where it gets misconflated. People say that Clinton was on the island 26 times. He's actually only been placed there once, and I think that was Giuffre. Said that she saw him there with two young girls. The 26 flights on that people talk about on Epstein's plane was the trip all around Africa.
Gizmo's mom says, why the hell would the Queen of England be there? Well, Jeffrey Epstein was working on life extension technology at Zorro Ranch. He was The Queen of England, I have to believe, would have been a eugenicist in the same way that Jeffrey Epstein was a eugenicist. Obviously, he and Andrew were exceptionally close. There have been rumors for years of pedophilia within the halls of Windsor Castle. If you'll remember, that kid, that naked boy that climbed out of the window of Windsor Castle and only got about halfway down before he dropped, and then he never got up again.
That's definitely remember that. There's also an alleged case where her and Prince Philip went to Canada, and they said a bunch of school kids kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
That's
definitely. There have been a number of cases like that. Native kids just went missing a lot. Here's this is again Bill Clinton over here on the right. You can see him in the kind of reddish shirt with the jersey. This is Ghislaine Maxwell standing in front of 10 Downing Street, which is where the British government operates out of. That's where the prime minister works. Here is a picture of Kevin Spacey. So yeah, somebody had asked if they were doing the deeds in Africa. Absolutely. I would say that Africa, any type of third world nation, any type of war-torn area, it's ripe with opportunity for child theft to take place. I mean, that's why so many kids went missing in the aftermath of the earthquake in Haiti. That's why Laura Silsby showed up. And that's why the Clinton Foundation was there.
Laura Silsby, who went on to work for AlertSense, who makes the technology for Amber Alerts. I think AlertSense has since changed its name, but if you look it up, it'll still come up. So definitely not concerning at all.
Yeah. And here we have a couple more with Bill Clinton. I've definitely seen this picture over here on the right of him walking down the street with the jacket over his shoulder. I think I've seen this one wearing the Air Jordan shirt right there. This is Chris Tucker with Ghislaine Maxwell right there. Item was not scanned, so CD. Clinton, Africa, London. That's the CD where all this came from. Definitely seen this one right here of Ghislaine with Jeffrey on the motorbike. Seen the Ghislaine going flying. Seen Jeffrey Epstein in the red fleece. I've never seen this picture of Clinton and Epstein together.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that these. Okay, so this is Zorro, Great Hall. That would be Les Wexner right there. Yeah. Abby, I don't know who Abby is, and I can't tell how young that person is, but there we have a aerial shot from the island. There again, this seems to be the same picture scanned a second time. Magazine Project, Home Plane Island, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein shots. Again, Bill Clinton. We've seen those two before. I don't know who this is.
Bay Theater Dave shared a thing about the Queen and Epstein, like those pictures.
Yeah.
And it says, they're saying it appears to be the Queen's Balmoral residence. They're sort of saying that they think it was the Queen's place, but they're saying it appears to be. No, it's not confirming it. So this might change that now.
I've never seen that location confirmed. The Queen's Balmoral residence is the only thing that I ever heard. But there we have multiple pictures from the outside and then from that same angle.
Yeah. Oh man, it'd be cool to compare the pictures too. The make of the cabin. And
let me see. Let me see if I can. Queen Elizabeth Balmoral residence. Okay, I'm gonna say no because look at this. This is Balmoral Castle. Okay, this is a very typical English castle right here.
There has to be a cabin there, right? Or else,
you would assume that there would be a cabin there, but that never looked to me like British construction. That looked to me like, classic Americana.
Yeah.
So, okay, here, let's watch this video. Town and Country Magazine. A look at the Queen's Castle. We're going to have to wait.
Switch to that tab.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Wow, they make a lot of food there.
Just waiting for this to end. So we saw an aerial view there. Hopefully, if there is a hunting lodge, they'll show it to us. Okay, they have gone beyond it. So let me see.
Okay, so I found one called the Karam Cottage. No.
Balmoral Hunting Lodge. Aha. Got it. And it's not that. It is, again, some classic British construction. That's the Balmoral Hunting Lodge.
I think there might be a couple because I just found one. Wait, hold on. I found one that might look like it, but
okay. So can you see my screen still?
Okay. Yes, I can.
Okay, so there are numerous, but all of them appear to be stone buildings.
I found the fishing lodge that could fit the.
Okay, let's see it.
Let's see. This is the Queen Mother had a fishing lodge located on the Balmoral estate.
That could definitely be it.
Okay, yeah, it looks like similar windows. Trying to go back. Oh, I guess I lost that other tab. Yeah, this might be it, but they're sitting like outside, unless it would have to be like on an outside porch because there's not really room for that picture to be taken on this front porch. Although it is kind of the same, it does look like the same windows and the same things jutting out. Let me see if I get let's see. So is those type of windows, and they are going pretty far past. So it could be on the back end of this.
Let me find that a better image of them sitting on the
fishing lodge, Balmoral Estate.
Because we would be able to compare the trees in the background.
Oh,
okay, so I have. This is actually from the U.S. Attorney's Office, and it says that they are definitely at Balmoral in Scotland.
Okay.
Okay. So sorry, guys, fake news. the FBI has it listed as Zorro Ranch in there. So, okay. So, okay, yes, confirmed. This is Balmoral.
Right on. I mean, it's equally as what the F, either way. Why hanging out with the Queen in like one of their like tucked away areas?
So this is them actually out in the countryside hunting. I've never
should be arrested for that coat.
Yeah. Okay. And then there is the Queen on the porch.
Oh, I think that guy.
Oh, gosh, darn it.
It's a whole shady world, dude. And it's all so connected. We were going through this yesterday. It was like, how does Claire Bronfman linked to the Rothschilds and, Lynn DeForester Rothschild, boom. And Lynn DeForester Rothschild is connected to the Epstein world. And it's like all these different things are just that whole world really is connected by not even the 6 degrees of separation, by like 1 degree of separation each. They're just connected.
So, one of the Bronfman sisters married a guy that I found an email from the other day, and he died by falling off a cliff in France, like a year after this conversation with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh God.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. We were just talking about the other day, Trevor Moore falling off his balcony. Like, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
We got.
I just saw this shared last night, and I was going to play it today, and I completely forgot. Right before he died, he did a podcast with somebody, and he presented the wildest conspiracy I have ever heard.
Oh, Trevor Moore.
Trevor Moore. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Okay. I have never seen this before. and it blew me away.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, can you see it?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
You might have to raise the volume if you can.
I can't. This is as loud as it can go.
Okay, yeah.
Like bioengineering. So he had all of these.
He's talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
Scientists that he would donate money to their charities and he would have them work on things and stuff. But what I heard, and this is completely unsubstantiated, but I heard it and I thought it was fascinating, was that he also had these same guys, because they were disease specialists and everything like that. He had them design a novel coronavirus that was his kill switch. Basically, like, that was his trump card, which is like, I don't go to jail or I release this shit. And like, it's like one of these things where if I don't keep entering in a thing every 30 days, I die. In like October, November, his kill switch went off. And that's when the disease got introduced into the world until it became what we do today. I don't believe it.
I'm with you. I don't believe that for a second, but that's a goddamn great conspiracy.
Come on, Zach. You know it's true.
So this
Zach plays it chill because he doesn't want to get thrown off his balcony.
I definitely don't want to get thrown off a balcony, but yeah, Trevor Moore allegedly fell off a balcony and split his head open and died. Zach Kreger was another member of The Whitest Kids You Know, and he's now a writer and director. He just did that movie Weapons, which is really good, scary as shit, and then another movie called Barbarian, which is also really, really good. Takes place in Detroit.
I gotta say it. The Whitest Kids You Know was like my freaking jam of all jams for the longest time.
Yeah,
back in the day, dude.
They've kind of ruined it now on YouTube. They keep changing the titles of the episodes to like go after the Trump administration. They're saying like, you know, ICE Nazis and stupid shit like that. But anyways, yeah, I think Trevor Moore was definitely killed.
Oh yeah, dude. That dude. I mean, he's got even straight up skits that are just straight up truth that, you know, they're laughing about it, but it's not one of those, let's make a joke about it. It's like, I have shit to say, and this is how I'd say it. But that is interesting. I mean, listen, the timeline works. Event 201 is quite clearly where they got their ducks in a row for how they were going to handle
Bill Gates,
the virus, right? And that happened 1 week after Bill Gates was outed in the New York Times for having more of a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein than they had said. Happened just about 2 months after Epstein was either taken out or killed
or removed.
Yes. Yeah, I guess taken out is the wrong word, but yeah. And that happened, right? October 12th, I want to say 18th, something like that. And that's right afterwards. And it was like they clearly released the virus. I mean, if you could watch the Event 201 reel that they have, or just read what it was about and who was involved, and then juxtapose that with the virus coming out literally a couple months later, and the way all those people involved reacted or pretended like they were shocked by it, and then how everyone involved in Event 201 were the people who did the main parts of the coronavirus. For instance, John Hopkins, who was the main runner of it, they ran all the official data that all the news stations and everyone took for when they were reporting on the coronavirus. That was being run by John Hopkins. And they're the ones who ran the coronavirus. They also teamed up the WEF and Bill Gates. Bill Gates is the one who was him and his cronies were pushing all the vaccine end. The WEF was pushing you guys have to have a world reset with this. And literally that ran the whole coronavirus craziness. They effing planned it. So it could be connected to that. That could have been payback. I tell you one thing, when they arrested Epstein, this fever pitch that we're seeing now, that's what it was like for a couple months until he killed himself, or I guess 1 month until he killed himself. And it was like, we got them. Trump was puffing his chest out and talking a lot of shit. That's why I kind of think the black hats might have removed him more than the white hats, but who knows? And then all of a sudden he kills himself. Event 201 happens and they impeach Trump, coronavirus, stolen election. And it was just like this. It was like they went with every A-bomb attack they had been holding back all at once. So they were upset.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were
being arrested. Yep.
Yeah.
And none of them, when they mentioned the Q drops, none of them mentioned Epstein. And Epstein's probably the most talked about thing during those drops.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. All they could do is always fall back on Pizzagate. And not the real Pizzagate, but the guy, what's his name, who went and shot the magic bullet into Comet Pizza and magically went straight through the hard drives on their computer, which of course had also just been discovered by an anon to have a secret portal on their website where you could go in and order things which did not appear to be pizzas. Not real pizza. Oh, you didn't know that?
What that part I do not know.
Oh shit, Brad. Oh my God. Well, hold on, bro. Let me show you.
It's a pretty big part.
Yeah.
Especially juxtaposed with I love the whole explanation that he shot through the door to save children. So you think they're holding children there, and you're gonna shoot a stray bullet through the door? That makes zero sense.
Yeah, everything. Okay, so hang on. I may be able to find it on Neon's website, but it was let me see.
And the fact that they debunked it by saying, well, Comet Pizza doesn't even have a basement, but then his a couple things down, his other place does have a basement, and he's literally, there's an interview with him from years before that where he's talking about storing sauce in the basement of his establishment. So.
Yeah, the whole thing. I remember being just like flabbergasted when James Alefantis went on Megyn Kelly.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, even Leslie Bayer, magic bullet hit the hard drive, insane skills. Oh yeah, the fact that it like went through the business and then turned a corner and then immediately found its way straight through that hard drive, absolutely insane. Okay,
that dude's an actor, I think, too.
Yes. And I think he might be dead now. I think he may have gotten out of prison. Edgar Madison Welch. Hold on. Let me check on this because I'm pretty sure that he got into a shootout with the cops not long after getting out of prison.
That's how they reassign you.
Yeah.
You get killed in a shootout.
Yes, I am right. He died early last year.
Wow.
Allegedly. He's certainly not part of the plot anymore. Here we go. Okay, go ahead and share that. A man who fired a gun inside a restaurant in the nation's capital. Because I was going to try to interview him. I was like, this guy's got to be getting out of prison. And I went and looked, and I was like, holy shit. Okay, he's dead. He's not available any longer. Edgar Madison Welch was a passenger in a vehicle, blah, blah, blah. The Kannapolis police officers recognized the car as the vehicle of someone he had arrested who had an outstanding warrant for felony probation violation. When the officers approached the vehicle to arrest Welch, police said the man pulled out a handgun and pointed it at one of the officers. After he was instructed to drop the weapon, he didn't. Two officers shot Welch. Emergency responders took Welch to the hospital, and he died from his injuries 2 days later, according to the press release. None of the officers or the driver or the passenger were were injured, they say. Yeah.
Yeah, that is super made up. That's a reassignment case right there.
Okay, so let me see. All right, I'm going to have to go to Neon's website because I think that's the only place that it's still going to be found online.
Yeah, that's awesome. I need to save that immediately because that's a major part to him destroying his hard drive and blaming it on that.
Yeah.
That was twofold. That's what that was obviously meant to do.
Oh, my God.
Oh, shit. It's 6:40.
Oh my God, we gotta go. Shit.
Yeah. Well,
sorry, you guys.
Oh my God, I just saw you
doing all these live digs.
Is like DPH is on. Well, I might want to tell everyone really quick about some of our wonderful sponsors.
I don't say this lightly. This lotion changes people.
My knuckles would actually start to crack. Started using the soft disclosure lotion, and I am very impressed. Even within just a few days, I've noticed a tremendous difference.
That's not a script. That's what happens when something actually works.
It puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Yeah, that line keeps coming up because when you don't use it, your skin starts acting up.
Every single ingredient in soft disclosure is intentionally chosen. There's no filler ingredients. It is not like this BS product where they have a bunch of ingredients. Every ingredient listed is for a purpose.
Over 65-star reviews for the lotion alone. Not influencers, not actors, just people whose skin finally shut up. Soft Disclosure Lotion. Once you try it, you'll understand why people won't stop talking about it. Visit softdisclosure.com and use code Badlands and get 10% off.
You've been sold a lie that food should be cheap. The grocery store chicken and beef are fine. They're not. At Rattlesnake, they raise protein the right way. Pasture-raised 21-day aged beef, and premium pasture-raised chicken with no subsidies, no shortcuts. It's not cheap to produce. It shouldn't be cheap to eat. Fight back. Think differently about your protein. Visit rattlesnakemeats.com/Badlands. Promo code Badlands and get an order sent Monday or Tuesday. Ships to all the lower 48 states. Shipping included. That's rattlesnakemeats.com/Badlands.
But this is all I've been drinking since last Friday. Don't drink coffee anymore. And I feel more focused. Since I've been taking it, it's been amazing. And so I would encourage you guys to try it out. This might be my new favorite thing.
Plus a 90-day money-back guarantee.
You were muted that whole time.
Oh, was I? Oh, because that last one is a hybrid, guys. Well, we're just saying to go to badlandshealth.com and you can lock in $70 off today and for all future orders, plus a 90-day money-back guarantee.
Okay, excellent.
Right.
Also got to say thank you to D. Dallid, who said great spitballing and facts on the show. Fantastic. We really appreciate you. And over on Pilled, Zeta Anand, thank you very much for the cookie. And sorry for the overtime, guys. Please apologize to the boys for us. And I will be live tomorrow at 5 p.m. if you want to join me. Maybe I'll have some more stuff that I discovered over the night.
I love it, dude. I love watching you do a live dig like that. It was cool going through those.
Excellent.
Guys, we love you, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.